Welcome back to LivAnimated.com. Let's learn something new. Today we are talking about how to interview. So hurrah, hurrah. You have made it past the applying stage and you are on site for an interview. Woohoo! That's awesome. So what you want to do now is don't go to the interview dressed up like you go into church when you was a kid. Go dressed like a normal person in this industry. Dress how you dress every day. You want to show your personality, you want to show your comfort level and your confidence. Usually what you'll find is that people that are dressed like, if I just wore a t-shirt like this and some pants or not slacks, khakis. Don't wear slacks at all, or khakis. It'll show like, yo, this dude is comfortable, confident, collected, everything's good. If you dress up, usually those are people who are new to the industry, and they're trying to put that first great impression of, look at how I look. It's not going to matter. Usually it's a red flag. So just dress comfortable in what you would wear every day. And that's going to also help you with the interview dressing like that. You know, people may compliment your shirts. Your confidence is going to get boosted right before you go in. They may mention something like, oh, man, that's a cool, do you play that game or what? You know, just dress normal. It's going to go a lot further for you. So next, remember who you're talking to. You're talking to a bunch of people who are like-minded like you. They're gamers. They play games. They make games. They love movies. Like, remember who you're talking to. So just speak to these people as if you can understand where they're coming from and as if you know them. It's going to come across a lot better for you. And it'll also show your personality and how you communicate, because, again, the interview is to really give people a taste or an example of what it would be like to converse with you if you got the job, working as a team, working out an issue. You know, how flustered are you going to get in this interview? How short-tempered are you going to be in this interview? These are things you need to keep in check or keep in mind. You don't want to display you have like anger management problems or you're hostile. That's crazy. You know, whatever you did in writing your resume and your cover letter, you definitely made it worse at this point if you're going there acting like that. Just be cool, be confident, and be prepared. And the only way you're going to be prepared is if you've done your research on the studio. You want to maintain eye contact as well when answering the questions or talking to whoever it is you're talking to. Usually interviews these days are going to be an all-day event. Everyone wants to talk to you. Everyone wants to see. Usually, from your discipline, they're going to want to see if you know what you're talking about. But everyone else is going to want to see, can I work with this person? Will this person be a good fit for the team? So keep those things in mind when you're there. Take the breaks that are offered to you so you can collect and refresh and be ready for the next group, so you don't get too fatigued and you don't feel like, oh man, I'm ready to go. So take advantage of those breaks. I've seen a lot of people like, would you like some more water? Or would you like to go to the restroom? No, I'm good. And usually the feedback you get from that is, man, he didn't seem as excited as he was when he first got here from what you guys are saying. Everybody's like, yeah, he probably was tired. You know, he didn't take any breaks. Take some breaks, man. That's what they're for. Or woman or whoever's, being interviewed. Take breaks. There's not going to be looked down upon that you're taking breaks when they're offered to you. But you don't want to be cringy with this eye contact. You want to make sure that what you're conveying is confidence, and what you're saying to the person is, I know what I'm talking about, blah, 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 blah. This is what's going to be conveyed through your eyes, is that, you know exactly what you're talking about. You don't want to be cringy where you're overstaring and you're overlooking and you're looking like, yeah, man. So, every time I like to come into work, I like to really get and assess things that's going on, and then I log in and start working, what? Everybody's going to be like, this dude's crazy, So, don't be cringy with it. Don't be creepy, just be yourself. Just maintain eye contact. You'd be surprised at how many people, when they start talking, they're like all like doing all this type of stuff, and you're like, what the hell is this person doing? It's almost like the person's a robot or something trying to recall data, but it doesn't look good. It looks like you're either trying to make up something or you're trying to word something together in a way where you're like, yeah, that sounds like what I'm talking about, when it's not going to come across that way. I've seen, I don't want to go into too much detail. I've seen so many personalities that come across in interviews, like once they're on site, where it's like the people are just, they're putting on, man. They're like acting. Like it is very strange because you'll be like, man, this person reminds me of this person from this TV show and this TV show. And you're like, it's funny in the TV show, but it's not funny in real life when a person acts like that. So you want to make sure that you're not putting on. Be yourself. You don't want to be there trying to act like someone else or act like how you think they want you to be. I have seen people do that, to be honest. And outside of the resemblances they have to TV personalities, I think what they get is they'll act a certain way in the interview with you, but different with other people, which is not a good idea. You'll have and what you will have created is conflict in your personality and how you actually communicate, and that you are not communicating consistently when talking to people. That's all going to come back to bite you, and it's not going to look good. It's going to look like, well, that's not what they said to us, and then another group's going to be like, well, they totally mentioned how it was hostile and it was bad and they didn't want to try to fix it or what have you. Whatever issues have arisen from what you were describing, that's bad. That's bad. It's don't do that. There's nothing else really to say. Like, just don't do that. Like, be yourself. Try to collect yourself after each interview. Heck, I mean, I've even seen people take notes, it really comes across as like, yo, this dude is taking notes during the interview. And what that has done is that it made him be consistent, because he's like, oh, I talked about this. And he just jots down something, or he'll do something. You'd be like, man, what is he writing down? But it worked for him in his favor. And it really showed that they're detail oriented. They are taking notes in their interview, man. Like, you can already get a sense of when you're in meetings with this person or brainstorm sessions with this person that this person is going to be paying attention. They're going to be actively listening. I mentioned that in another video. The other thing you want to do before the interview is you want to research the company. Again, you always want to research at each point in each stage, whether it's applying, it's being on the interview, or what have you. You want to research. You want to see where this studio is at. What moment are you coming into this studio? Because when you apply versus when you're there on site, a lot can change. So you want to make sure that you're aware of everything that's been going on in these last few weeks, up to months, up to a year or more for this studio, and what you're about to get yourself into. Some things may be asked of you, like, oh, did you know that, we were going through this? We just want to have transparency. We want to make sure that you have visibility into these issues. We just let go about 15 people who were blah, blah, blah. And you're like, what? I didn't know that. A lot of companies try to justify the reasons why, but it's still going to be like a flag, or should be a flag for you to be like, you guys letting people go like that? I don't know, man. Let me think about this, is what you should be thinking in your mind. Because you still have a choice to make. If everything comes back and they want you, you still have a choice to make. You can take it or not take it. But you should definitely do your research first in all regards. Culture, you should make sure that you will be a good fit and the company will be a good fit for you, not just one way around. You also want to make sure that you've played the games that the company has produced. You want to make sure that it fits with what your goals are. If you don't want to be making something that's a cartoony puzzle game and you want to make something that's more realistic side of things and a shooter, what are you doing? What are you doing there? Are you fitting in that category of I'm just looking for a job? It's one of those things where do the research on what they're making. A lot of times companies will project into what they're doing in the future. So you can already get a taste of like, ooh, they're working on finishing up this game now that they need me for, but they're going to be doing this new IP. I like that. I want to work on something new. And it's not going to be a revival of something. It's new. That sounds like fun, So you really want to tailor it to what your goals are, because then you'll be in this situation where you'll be at the studio for like years and years and years because of it. You're going to spend like maybe a year, 2 years finishing up the game on the one you're currently working on. And then, you're going to have like 6 months to a year for brainstorming and doing like some prototyping. That's awesome, So really do the research. The next thing you want to do is you want to ask questions. I have come across people in this industry in the last 5 years or so where they don't ask any questions. Hey, Interview sounds great. Do you have any questions for us? Nah, I'm good. I'm good. I talked to what, 3 groups today? I'm good. I don't have any questions. We can, just let me know what it is you guys want to do next. I'm good. What? Like, ask some questions, man. Even if you ask the same question to a different group of people, ask some questions. Like, it'll show that you've been actively listening and that you care about knowing what these people in front of you have to say, even though you asked the group ahead of them. Ask these people some questions. Don't just go and take one person's response and take that as the golden rule of law of like, yes, this person answered that question for me. Great. See what the other teammates have to say. You're going to ultimately be working with everybody that you're going to interview by to some degree at some point on the team. So what you really want this flow to feel like, though, is you want it to feel like a conversation, even if you're not a conversationalist. Here's the easy way that you can do that. You can listen to what it is they're asking you, respond as best you can, and then counter ask something at the end of your response. You don't have to do the last part, the counter asking, every time. You don't want it to be like, you don't want people to say, damn, this dude is talking a lot. Oh my God, we only asked him 2 questions. It took the whole interview. I've seen people do that too. It's pretty crazy. And a lot of times what you'll notice if you're being interviewed, people will let you keep talking. So you need to know when to be quiet, and you need to know when to go, all right, I think I answered the question. Let me stop. Let me get close to the period or the punctuation of my sentence and stop talking. Like, it'll benefit you to do that. And if they have another question they want to ask to counter or to go more in depth, then be ready to answer that. But don't sit there and keep talking and talking and talking and talking. Like, the people will have not learned anything from you. And when they come back to give feedback, they're going to be like, this dude talked too much. And what he was saying, he wasn't really saying nothing. So think about that. When they work with you, you're gonna be talking people's ears off is what they're gonna think. And they're gonna be like, yo, this guy, he can't get an answer out. And no one's gonna want to work with someone like that who's not able to make decisions and answer questions. Everybody doesn't have time to just chit chat when it comes to an issue that needs to be solved. So listen, respond, and then in some way have a counter. I understand that this is how you guys operate as well, right? And then they'll start talking. And then that if the people interviewing you feel comfortable, they'll roll that into the next question, and now you got this nice flow of a conversation going. You're going to ultimately leave that room with those people with them feeling like, man, he's very easy to talk to. Our questions and answers kind of flowed into a conversation. It really didn't, he wasn't really like, yes, no. There was about 3 people on the team when I worked on that. I don't know. Like, you're not being so vague and distant, Now, a lot of people's personalities may, go that way, but if you're aware of it, just, you want people to leave after interviewing you feeling confident in what they've learned about you and how you're able to speak about yourself and speak about your experiences, period. If they don't feel confident that you are able to do that, think about that. You're not going to be able to do that when you start working there. You can't. A lot of times you can't just be an island when working with a team. Like, that's not going to go over well, Usually those people that have become islands are people that have been at the studio for X amount of years, like 6 or 7 years already. And everybody's like, just leave him alone or her alone. This person's amazing. They get shit done. Leave them alone. Right? And then you're like, why does no one ever talk to so-and-so? They're busy. They are focused, and they get stuff done. So, but usually when interviewing, you don't want to come across as that, people will take that as either you're not being yourself or you're nervous or he may have an ego. There's a lot of things that you don't want to convey to people when being interviewed. I hope this has helped people. The interview process can be challenging, but if you can keep these things in mind and just be as comfortable as possible when talking to people, you're already going to be way ahead of the competition in interviewing. So you also want to bring work. You also want to bring any extra work that you can, or website, or have some stuff prepared that you can show more of your work, because a lot of times you can't just have that stuff on your website and it's going to go over really well if they can see additional work, whether it's from hobby, or it's from something from a side thing that you've done with a game, or actual product that you weren't able to show because the game isn't released, but you do have something to show that you think is important. So, but yeah, that's how to interview. Hope this helped you out. Hope you learned something new. Thank you very much.